better. She wants me to turn the eagles off. That was actually me throwing my voice. No sound, it says. No sound. Carolyn saying no sound. Hello? Hello, can you hear me now? Test, test. Is it okay now? Now it's on, they said. Okay now. So it is. Tell me if I'm on. Okay, I'm on. Good. Well, good evening, everybody. I appreciate you all showing up for the chat here. And keep in mind now, you're not listening to a college professor. I'm just a regular guy that's worked with Eagles for a professor-like lesson here. I'm just going to talk from my heart and talk from my experience. And I want to thank Craig Blue, come on over here, Craig. I want to thank Craig for setting this camera up. His help, it wouldn't be possible. Thanks, Craig. Appreciate it, man. You're a good man. To all you girls out there, you can see that Craig actually is good looking, huh? So, alrighty then. I appreciate everybody that's been watching the Eagle Cam this year. It's been a real experience for us trying to get everything up and running to where we want it. And hopefully next year it's even going to be better with high definition cameras and a few little tweaks here and there. I believe we have had a great season. We've had a lot of great people visit us. We've got wonderful moderators that have been very helpful to all the people who have visited our site, and we're very appreciative to them. You all know who they are. I'm not going to mention all the names. I did that on a video previously that many of you have seen already. But I'm going to just go ahead and get these questions done because I've got about 20, maybe 20 minutes. Let's see how it goes, okay? So we had some questions sent in to me yesterday, and I'm going to go through them in the order that I received them. And I guess the first one, Gretchen writes, are there names for eagles taken from the Picamate area and the brooders of the PVC? If so, what? And of course, none of those are pair bonded yet, but oftentimes they do, one or two of them will get together and then we'll remove them from the Picamate section and put them in their own little condo, their own aviary to have more privacy if they want to breed and raise young. And that eliminates all the territorial stuff that might happen. We have had a pair lay an egg in the Picamate before, and they spend most in that corner of the Picamate section, and we don't want anybody to get hurt, so we try to pull them out as soon as possible. With regards to the brooders of the PVC, those eagles are named Esther and Tennessee, but I must give you some very sad news right after the nesting season was over. She killed her mate on Memorial Day weekend, and we've never had this happen before. She just snapped and killed Tennessee. So I know that's sad news, but that happens, and it doesn't happen very often here. But we probably never will breed Esther again. We'll be probably looking for an aviary or an exhibit someplace where she can, you know, kind of be on her own. And so to begin things on that note, but since you brought the question up, I want to be honest with you about it. Will Isaiah and Mrs. Jefferson's eaglet be alone in the hack tower? We put that eaglet in the hack tower yesterday, and we were up there this morning checking on it, and we also released an eagle into the wild that was rescued down in Chattanooga. It was blown from a nest in Chattanooga. It had been in the wild for about, I guess, 2 weeks, or maybe a month, actually. And we've had it for about 2 weeks, but we did release it this morning. It did a beautiful flight, and we released it on Douglas Lake in East Tennessee. So that eaglet is gone now, and hopefully next year Isaiah and Mrs. Jefferson will have more young. This was their first youngster as a pair. Will Osceola or another mature eagle be placed by them to emulate, and will the eagle be put in a different compartment? Sometimes we have, when we didn't have all of our compartments full, we have 4 compartments at the hack tower. Right now we're only using 3, but we have eaglets in each one of them, so we can't really later in the season we can do that though. Osceola is also being used for a lot of educational programs these days, and so that's another reason. Could you give us an update of the eagles that are at the hack tower now? So again, we released the eaglet from Chattanooga this morning. We've got the 2 Florida eaglets up there right now. We're going to release them on June 20th, American Eagle Day. And then the 3 youngsters are, I guess today they're about 4 weeks of age. We possibly will keep them in the Dollywood Park nest for another 2 weeks, so enjoy them while you can. And then they'll be placed in the hack tower and released sometime in July, I believe. I don't have that date in front of me, but we will release them at 13 weeks. They're 4 weeks today. Numbers. Okay, Jay Crushing, JC, Jolene. She asked, are you planning to leave the PTZ cam on for a while after the eaglets leave the nest? And we possibly might do that. Usually when we remove the eaglets from the nest, the parents don't hang out on the nest very often, so we would probably have to, you know, just kind of zoom in on the area where they're perching, and an experience I wouldn't think for you all. Certainly not as great an experience as watching them raise young. But we'll consider that. We'll check it out when that time comes. How many eagles or other raptors at AEF have only one wing? Of course, we have Osceola. That's our very first eagle we ever received in 1985 years. And we have down in our small aviary on the Dollywood Park, right below Eagle Mountain Sanctuary, there's, I believe, 2 other amputees there, and we have another amputee in Picamate that has 1 wing. We may possibly be placing 2 of those with the zoo that has an open ceiling, no netting on their ceilings, a new exhibit in a northern zoo. So 2 of those birds may end up leaving us soon. Okay, that's Gretchen and JC's questions. Okay, Owl, Susie. My friend that visited us in Chicago that we had a great time with, and I might say right now, it was wonderful to meet, all the people that came up there, and so. Okay, I was asking, how long does it take to train an eagle like Challenger to fly around a stadium? Well, we've been training Challenger for a very long time. It's the actual part of training an eagle usually starts with a good candidate. Challenger was a good candidate because he was actually blown out of a nest at a very young age and hand-raised by the people that rescued him. And even though he was released into the wild eventually, he had so much human handling at a very early age, right around the 5 weeks old, I believe, is when people found him, that he became too human socialized, too human imprinted to ever survive in the wild. He didn't know how to hunt, so he would land near people 3 times, and because the guy picked up his stick was going to do bodily injury to him. And so his guardian angel, a hiker that day, saw what was happening, and he stopped this man from harming Challenger. And he's been with the foundation. So we started out with a good candidate, a bird that's a little bit comfortable around people. But still, there's a lot more training that goes into that. And we use falconry techniques that have been around for, thousands of years. We use all positive rewards and constant repetition of the behaviors that we want to eventually get the bird to do. And so we put Challenger gradually into some small settings with smaller crowds, and then we gradually worked him up to the large stadiums that he does today. And he's not intimidated at all when he's flying in a stadium with 105,000 people. I hope that answers your question, Susie. Owl. On that one. Let's see. And many of you know Challenger's been a great ambassador for his species. He's really contributed a lot to not only raising a public awareness around the country, but he's been a part of raising a lot of money for the cause, not only for the foundation, but for wildlife projects nationally, especially with his appearances on Capitol Hill. Okay, Carolyn 12. Most chatters have asked, will there be any videos and or photos of the eaglets at the Hack Tower? Yes, we're going to produce a video, especially on the 3 that are in the Indian Franklin nest. There will be a video of their release, and probably a video of us placing someday, if we can get the funding, maybe we can get some solar panels on the Hack Tower and some batteries and have a live feed on that, but that costs money. So, and put some satellite transmitters. We were hoping that we could put a couple satellite transmitters on our eaglets this year where we could track them wherever they go, but those are also very expensive, not only for the actual transmitter, and the solar-powered ones are more expensive, but then you also have to pay for the transponder, the satellite, to track them, and so it probably would be about $25,000 if we were going to put satellite transmitters on all 3 eaglets, somewhere in that ballpark. Let's see, will there be any videos? We know the gender of every one of those birds. They've all been checked by a veterinarian, and so we have a good idea. And do we know their ages? We don't know their ages because a lot of these birds came to us when they were fully mature. So you know, when they come in fully mature, you don't know whether they're 4 years or 10 years old. It's a very, very difficult to determine. But if they come in as an immature, then we can guesstimate, depending on the stage of immaturity, the color of the feathers, and all that, we can determine whether they're, you know, approximately a couple years old, or, you know, 3 years old, or whatever. So the age is a harder thing. We do have weights on all of them because they have an annual physical every year, and the vets weigh them every year to match the weight issues that would be causing them to, for their weight to drop. In fact, before we released the Chattanooga eaglet this morning, we weighed it, got a weight on it. It was a small southern male. We also measured its talons, and we measured its beak, not the length of its beak, but from the cere down underneath the beak. And that's how we can determine sex as well, by those measurements on the helix claw and the beak. Okay, that's all of Carolyn 12's questions. Now Yami, Mike, and by the way, Mike's going to be going to a football game with us at a Michigan university in September, and we're looking forward to seeing Mike at that game with Challenger. If anybody else lives in the Michigan area, let me tickets. So I prefer people who actually live in Michigan and who are Eagle fanatics. Since we see their these are Yami's questions. Since we see their tongue a lot during panting, is that what helps regulate temperature? The act of panting is actually what regulates the temperature. It's just like a dog. I think we've said this before on chat. You know, they pant, and that cools them down. Let's see. And it also kind of, you know, helps regulate the oxygen and carbon dioxide balance in their bloodstreams. So I wish I had more of a dramatic answer for that, Yami, but that's all I can give you on that. And I can't believe you only had one question, Yami. At AEF that do what Challenger does, are you training any others? We do have one other eagle named Mr. Lincoln, who are training to free fly. He doesn't do big stadiums yet. We have taken him up to UT Stadium and rehearsed him a couple times, and we've done some smaller events with him over the years. But he's not totally ready right now to fill Challenger's talons. And so that was a joke. But anyways, Mr. Lincoln's is a little bit bigger than Challenger, and he's actually one that we raised here, and he flew all the way to Michigan when he was released, and was stopping along the way getting fed by different people, not because he was looking for people. It just happened that way, that people saw him and they started throwing him things. And other rehab centers up north, one in Wisconsin, one in Minnesota, and he became so human acclimated over the 90 days or more that he was in those rehab centers, basically staying at a bed and breakfast, not being forced to hunt for food, when we eventually got him back, he was non-releasable, so we couldn't release him back. Normally, if that happens, and we can get him right back, we can get the state to cooperate and send him back to us. We'll put him in a flight cage and put some live fish in there, or live rabbits, try to get him fattened up again, and we will release them again, give them a second go at it. Can everybody hear me real good? If you can hear me, Al, will you just tell me if you can hear me real well? I want to make sure that you're hearing what I'm saying. The only way that I can tell. Great. Okay, Mama 38, Missy. How much food is put out for Indian Frank? When does an eagle's beak turn yellow? Well, the eagle's beak turns yellow approximately the same time that they get the white head and tail. As many of you know, the eaglets are, when they're released at 13 weeks, they're pretty much all brown. Their feet are yellow, but their body's brown, their beak's brown, and their eyes are brown. And then they get the yellow eyes and the yellow beak right around the sexual maturity, which could be, 4 to 5 years of age. And I think on record, a 3-year-old bird that we released that flew up to Kentucky that actually found the producing young. So we have had some, in the late part of their 3rd year.